Dear Excellencies, permanent representatives, UN high officials, distinguished guests, representatives from civil society, private sector, government, and our wonderful youth delegates from all around the world, a very good morning. As the youth chair of the Youth Assembly at the United Nations, I'm truly humbled and I'm honored to be able to welcome you all this morning. Today's generation of young people is the largest the world has ever known. 1 in every 3 people alive today is under the age 30, and 90% of them are living in developing countries. We're living in times of great turmoil, and the impact of that on us young people is extreme and profound. Half of Syria's children and youth are forced to flee from their homes as refugees, and an estimated of 5.6 million are in need of humanitarian assistance. Wars, conflicts, and violence bear a huge responsibility in generating displacement of almost 60 million people from their homes today. And even though young people today represent huge economic opportunity and a potential demographic dividend, we're the inheritors of broken and inequitable systems. Social inequalities, which is growing majority in the countries right now, is causing hundreds and millions of people still living in extreme hunger and poverty. The devastating impact of natural disasters that have been severe, where the disaster risk reduction has not been implemented or undertaken with accountability and has not been adequate in developing countries like Nepal and Haiti. The impact of climate change threatens all the countries, especially the most poorest and the most vulnerable. Women and girls in Asia and Africa mostly are struggling and continue to face not only widespread gender inequality, but also heavy labor burdens. There is a global gender imbalance of power and responsibility. All these challenges and many, many, many more throughout the world call for bold and urgent actions to be taken in order to make this world a more just, a more peaceful, and a sustainable world. And this is where we, the young people, have an absolutely critical role to play. Margaret Mead had once said that never ever doubt that a small group of thoughtful and committed people can change the world. In fact, it is the only thing that ever has. Giving back to the society, I feel, has the power to transform you within the inside and then ripple out in ever-expanding circles that changes the world positively at large. I've always believed that when your passion collides with your purpose, there is an explosion that ignites the light within you forever. And I want you, each one of you, to find your passion and your purpose and connect them. Because you are with us, amongst us, in this historic General Assembly Hall for a reason. And if you want to be the change that you want to see in the world, you have to remember that the change starts with you. Our Secretary General has said that our generation is the first one that can eradicate extreme poverty and the last one that can reverse climate change. Almost a year ago, in September 2015, the 2030 Agenda of Global Development was launched at the United Nations by the world leaders and member states. And it is absolutely critical for you all know today that young people played a significant role in shaping these agendas by telling their governments, by telling the United Nations their needs and ideas. But here's one thing that we all have to understand, that finalizing the goals and targets and agendas is one thing, and implementing them and turning them into a reality, transforming your vision into action is a different thing. Drastic amendments need to be taken right now, and that is why we, the team of the Youth Assembly of the United Nations, has worked really hard and put relentless focus in shaping our agenda around each and every sustainable goals so that you have the opportunity to learn about them from our experts in the field, from the United Nations officials, from private sector and multi-sector government and partnerships. We're at the nexus of the world's greatest hopes and challenges, and I hope that you can take away as much as you can during these 3 days, make valuable friendships, meaningful networks, and prepare yourselves to be the next torchbearers of the Sustainable Development Goals when you go back to your countries and local communities when you leave. Let us rise to the challenges, everyone, and let's join forces with the United Nations and help make this world a better place to live in. You cannot do everything, but you can do something. And you have to. We have to, because this is our moral responsibility as global citizens. I'll tell you a really quick story. Exactly 3 years ago, I was right there, sitting where you are right now, representing my beautiful, beautiful country, Nepal. And it has been a life-changing and an amazing journey since then, serving and working for the youth. And here I am today doing my part, and I want you to do yours. This is my story, everyone, and I want you to have a story too. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now we'll officially commence the Youth Assembly at the United Nations, the 18th session by a